projects is not to get results, but to try to learn about how to do projects. And it's remarkable that people learned so much from that process and also found some cool results too. I believe, Medina, you're up for this one, right?
Yeah, this is a theory project. I'm glad to see a theory project in here. The
Shout out to
tractor group.
my former graduate student there, who's the TA. Hi, Chandy.
Oh, awesome. Oh, yes, and the mentor is Alex Gomez-Marin. And this is the tractor group, who mostly focused on exploring a theoretical model of working memory. They basically wanted to understand how working memory could form clusters as seen in a human working memory task for color discrimination. And they have this nice rainbow color scheme there at the bottom. So they used an attractor model to look at working memory, and they also modeled drift in the attractor space. So very much using the tutorial material that we learned. They fit the model using maximum likelihood estimation, and they fit this to the distribution of the actual task memory results. And they actually had time to get some results, which is pretty impressive. Their model captured the clusters of the remembered colors, so you can see that in the bar plots there. They could also see the drift in their attractor model over time. That's there at the bottom, which is pretty cool. Finally, they conducted a fixed point analysis to understand the dynamics near the color attractor basins. So this is a really nice example of how you can use a theoretical model, which is analytically tractable to understand behavior. It's also a nice example of how theoretical studies and projects sometimes go much faster than experimental projects using real data sets. So kudos to this group.
And Megan, you present this last one for us.
Yeah, so the last project that we're going to highlight today is from Pod 154, Group 3, Lin Fan Gu, Longfei Zhu, and Yijie Pan. And the mentor is Matt Nolan. And this group was interested, this is the Supergiant Dragonfly group, and they are interested in understanding what brain regions are correlated with each other in decision-making tasks, and how that correlation would be associated with decision timing. And they did this using the Steinmetz data set. And in their results here, we go to the next slide, please. Thank you. And they compared the correlation matrices in the passive and the active decision conditions in this data set. And they used the difference in those two conditions in the correlation matrices to identify regions that were correlated during the task. So then they looked at the correlation between the brain areas for the different trial conditions, and they found that the correlations were stronger in the go trials than in the miss trials. And they also found that response time can be partially predicted based on the correlation between brain areas. And I've heard that they are going to keep working on this, working towards building a causal model that can explain the response time of the animal. And so this is really a really nice example of a very tractable project in the limited amount of time that we have for NMA projects. So kudos also to this group for their excellent work.
Bravo. Okay, so now let's flip by. That's the work portion of our of our wrap up here. We've highlighted the projects, and tune in the next wrap ups for some of the projects from the other time zones. But for now, we can leave the hard work behind us, and now time to celebrate all of that work with marveling at what we've created and how history has been made in this strange time. So the most remarkable thing about Neuromatch Academy is the students. And so people from all across the world grouped together through Zoom in pods, interacting, learning new people, learning new things, and creating little mini cultures within these pods. Like every pod had their own special name and showed their spirit by putting on funny hats or making cool backgrounds and all of these things. So we really applaud all of that energy that the students bring to things. Here's an example of what the students have done. What you've done is created icons and logos for your pods, like Masterful Wolf or Hairy Grasshopper or Authentic Jackdaw. And these were randomly assigned labels, but you took it and you ran with it and made these beautiful pieces of art. Here's another set of beautiful art, Truthful Bloodhound, and these little targets, accurate and precise, accurate but not precise, and Keen Bullfinch. Wonderful stuff here, all these drawings, such creativity. Invaluable Chimpanzee. And so this just illustrates how, here in this picture, all the different aspects of Neuromatch Academy, where people are exhibiting creativity and scholarship and learning and collaboration and thinking. And in the middle of all this, finding time to engage in not necessarily purely scientific interactions. So we saw all these social interactions arising. We have the Hangouts in Mozilla Hub, little beginning of virtual reality for these kind of summer schools. And in real reality, we had participation in yoga classes that were facilitated. And so we're grateful that we were able to move and not just be stuck in front of our computer the whole time. And even singing, there was karaoke. And so people would get together and you would sing and have a good time to break up all of the intense learning. But it was intense. And so Jeff is going to tell us next about the intensity.
Right. So NMA was really like a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week thing for the past 3 weeks for sure, but even before that, for the past few months. And you can see evidence of this in Twitter, for example, people's activity there. But a lot of the work was also like in Slack, where all the organizational stuff was happening. But we can see that there's just like all day, every day, there's a ton of activity. So this is our record of our Slack, internal Slack activity. You can see that how many people were onboarded. So we're looking at how many active members. We started off back in April, just a couple months ago, with 0, then quickly grew to a team of hundreds of people in order to make Neuromatch happen. And these people contributed all different things, and we'll go through them in the next slides, kind of appreciating the level of activity. So at the peak of activity, we were sending 5,000 messages on Slack every day. And if you don't pay for Slack, then you lose your history in 2 days. So it's a good thing we had a real Slack account. And there was a sort of a joke happening that, I was personally recruited by Eric DeWitt to help out with running the China stuff. And he's like, oh, it won't be that much work. And this sort of, apparently the initial team that organized, this was how they got everyone to sign on. Oh, Neuromatch Academy, it won't be that much work. So that kind of became a joke. And I think I don't know, is this t-shirt actually being made, guys? Is that happening?
Yes, it is.
It is. So yeah, so it was just so much activity on Slack and meetings on Zoom to make this happen. But it was just an amazing amount of activity.
A labor of love, for sure.
A labor of love. And this happened in just a miraculous pace. So the initial idea for NMA was obviously in response to the fact that all the in-person summer schools were essentially canceled this year. And so April 4th, the idea of NMA got started, and then just within a few weeks, there was already tech and fundraising teams and diversity teams, and starting to put together material, the technical stack, and all the things that need to happen to make it happen. And then May 20th, around a month later, there was a Bayes Day to test 1 day of what NMA would be like, and also in order to get feedback of the sort of ideas that had been generated in the past month. Bayes Day was a real testing day. Based on the feedback, the tutorial format was optimized, and then all of the tutorial content was generated, and there was a test run. That was the pre-pod process, and then the tutorials were further optimized, And every day, there's a huge team of people working to get production quality video and tutorials ready for the real NMA, which is happening over the last 3 weeks. So let's celebrate the community, the volunteers that put together the content, and the teams of people that made it happen. And of course, you, the students, which made it all worthwhile. And so this is just a celebration now of all that we've achieved. So we were inclusive on many axes. So we had language diversity. So all the videos were subtitled in English. Almost all the videos were subtitled in English, Chinese, and Spanish. We had pods doing their tutorials in 13 different languages. Iran was included with some effort, and the male-female balance was like relatively close in participants, which is really amazing for computational neuroscience, and a pretty balanced team. Third of the panelists, lecturers, and TAs were women in NMA. So I think, you know, there's room for some improvement, but I think we did pretty well. And so these are the people who worked on this. So there was a group of people working on diversity, a team of people interacting with the students and making sure that the observers also who weren't part of pods had a good experience, a team to make to work out all the details of how the projects were going to work. The matching the pods is like a huge effort. And then of course, a huge amount of work to match TAs and students and mentors in time zones and create the content and make it happen 24 hours a day across the world. So these are all the people that contributed. And there was, of course,
some of the people that contributed. There's so many people who contributed.
Yeah, so many people. So we also had a technical team, which really made sure that, like, for example, the Jupyter notebooks worked, and the Google Colab worked, and the YouTube videos, and Crowdcast, and Zoom, and Slack, and WeChat, and email. It turns out emailing thousands of people is non-trivial. So you need a bunch of people to help make sure all this happens. And of course, NeuroStars, we can't forget NeuroStars, was a huge part of NMA2. And we should thank the people who both contributed the data sets and also annotated them. And of course, creating production quality videos. Like, so the lecturers made videos, and then this team of amazing video editors went through, edited the videos, added captions, and made sure that the videos were clear and smooth. And so a huge thank you to this amazing team of people that made all the content happen. And of course, the TAs are the heart of NeuroMatch Academy. So there's a team of people to help organize the TAs, train them, and make sure that that all the pods were organized. And there were so many TAs, hundreds of them, that we had lead TAs, so they could have a little bit more information. It meant that all the TAs, if they had any issues, knew who to talk to whenever they had problems. So a huge thanks to the TA team and the lead TAs for making the content and the tutorials work smoothly. I think we're passing this off now to Song Ting.
Right. So we know TAs and mentors are very important to the summer school, and we have TAs and mentors all over the world. From the left part, we can see where TA are from, and the right one is where the mentors are. So they are basically everywhere in the world, which is essential because we have the students everywhere. So NeuroMatch Academy is really indeed a global summer school. And now I think it's time to thank our TAs, which will be the next slide. As TAs really played an important role in NeuroMatch Academy. They are the people who the students can have daily conversations, communications, and interactions with, and they help the students understand the lectures, to work on the tutorials and projects, debug codes and solve other issues, and witness the progress the students made. So that's very important. We have such a big group of TAs. They really make many impossible things to become possible. Okay. Also, we need to thank the mentors in the next slide. Where the next, can you turn the next slide? Thanks. Right, so you can see we have a very long list of mentors. We're not able to read the full list of the mentor names, but it gives us the impression and the idea that we have so many great mentors from different areas and with different backgrounds. Sorry, I think we jumped to the, yeah. Right, so they are really awesome, and they help the students to work on the project. They are quite important to be part of the NeuroMatch Academy Summer School. And now we also need to thank our Q&A host and panelists, because they make this summer school more interactive. So they help answer the questions the students have, and also share their experience and many other things to help the school to become more interactive. So they are also very important, and thank you. And in addition, not only about the mentors and TAs are global, but also we have the participants are incredibly global. We can see from the map that participants are from many countries and cities all over the world doing great neuroscience research and also education. And what should be mentioned is that, unfortunately, many tools like Google's doesn't work in China. So as Jeff already mentioned, we have an amazing China team working very hard to bridge NMA in China and the NMA outside China. So it's always our goal to make a global community. In that sense, the China team are awesome and really important to the summer school. A big thanks to them. And of course, we need to communicate with lots of people, as we can see from the slides. Here's the Twitter data that shows increasing followers, impressions, and mentions before and during the NeuroMatch Academy Summer School. So with our strong communication team, we are able to bring awareness of NeuroMatch to really a big, broad community. Okay. And next slides will show that NMA actually didn't exclude anyone for financial reasons. This is very important. And we can see that the participation fee is not high. It's, for example, in USA, it's $100, about 5 hours at a medium wage. And also importantly, fee adjusted according to local medium salary, and also anyone could waive the fee. But there are many, cool features that cost money, like we pay TAs, and we have a very nice web page of NeuroMatch Academy. And also we need to email thousands of people. That actually is not easy to handle. And we also have this portal and also yoga teachers in this spare time, which is also very important for the summer school, and also accounting, so on and so forth. So how is it possible? It is possible because we have an amazing fundraiser team, and they have looked for financial support from universities and companies to help us out here. And the level of support we got here is also incredible. We really appreciate our sponsors' great support. They have realized that how unique chance this summer school could offer to bring neuroscience to so many people. So special thanks to Facebook Reality Labs and also other sponsors listed here who contributed a lot to make this NeuroMatch Academy Summer School possible. So I'll pass my part to Maddie.
I think Medina,
thanks,
you're taking over now.
Yeah. So a lot of what we just went over was sort of behind the scenes, getting NMA ready for you guys. But for the students, a lot of what you saw, the core was the content and the tutorials. And so we had to make this one coherent curriculum, including optimized code, tutorials you could access, all of these little issues we had to work through, silly things like copyright. And we had to do this whole process for 15 days of content. So this is quite a bit of work. And in the next slide, we can see the faces of some of the people that are involved. So first of all, each of these days had what we call the day chief. a single person that was responsible for making sure that the intro made sense with the tutorials and intro made sense with the outro, that everything fit together, that all of these busy people that signed up to spend their summer creating content turned everything in on time. And you've seen some of these day chiefs in the Q&A. Behind the scenes, of course, you had a much bigger curriculum committee that supported the day chiefs and everyone else to make all of this content happen and happen on time. And of course, we also had the lecturers, and these are their Slack profiles, but you're all super familiar with their faces from all the YouTube videos. So we also had a lot of lecturers that volunteered their time for the course. In the next slide, we'll talk about the tutorial review process a little bit. So this curriculum team created tutorials, and then we went through sort of a couple stages of review. First, we had this tutorial review team at the top that gave general course feedback. The content creators revised the tutorials. We had a dress rehearsal called pre-pod. We had a second round of much more detailed feedback that the tutorial editors in the middle there fixed. And this included really detailed code optimization. So we've included this robot, this automated code checker that helped us fix little errors and style inconsistencies. And you know, any widgets that were in the tutorials were often added by editors. So they also looked for general, is this tutorial comprehensible? Is there a better way to teach this concept? So thank you to that team. And there was also a team of dedicated people that went through the tutorials with another set of eyes looking for copyright infringement. So are we using papers from Figures and are we crediting everyone? And this was important because we want to make everything, and we have made everything available for free to use on GitHub. So for us to be able to do that, the material had to be copyright free. And we've mentioned the video team briefly, but because the videos took so much time, let's go through this process a little bit and thank them again. So the content creators made the videos, and the videos had to be clean, they had to be cut to the right duration, they had to be put on YouTube and organized. The video team made these beautiful splash screens with all the lectures. They had to be captioned, so there's some auto captioning, but a lot of the technical jargon is missed, so a person had to go and manually fix through. And of course, they had to just generally make sense and match the tutorials. And we know we have some measure of success because on the next slide, we'll see just how much the videos have been used. So we have 300,000 views, 30,000 hours of watch time, 2,000 subscribers. So the YouTube channel has really been on fire. So thanks to the video team and to all of the students for using these videos. If all of that wasn't enough, and if you guys weren't already tired, on the weekend, we had more content. So we had professional development sessions over the first and second weekend. From everything, there was a really fun session on data visualization, two really fun sessions on philosophy of consciousness and representations. We had career forums, we had industry panels, we had several sessions on open science and data sharing and management, which is sort of core to the essence of NMA. And we had, you see the team of organizers that helped make that happen, but we also had a lot of speakers that we reached out to that volunteered their time. And thanks to everyone who signed in and joined us for those sessions. And I think now that the NMA is over, the most important thing is the community that we've built that we'll always have. So, and this is both for the organizers on our side and the students on your side. So here at NMA on the organizer side, we've sort of built a hierarchy. We had to make things happen. And here's a organizational chart of who worked with who and who made what happen. But on the student side, we also sort of checked in with you guys. Are you working well with your pod? Is everything going well? You guys responded in the daily reflections. And I think for the most part, everybody got along. We had a good set of students. So here's a little survey. Did you get along? I strongly agree. And you know, most people strongly or regularly, I guess, agree. So that's good. And I want to point out that our Neuromatch Twitter account really had a lot of activity. You guys are a lot of fun on Twitter. That'll always be up, so keep it up, keep talking to us. We'll convene there. Okay, and that's not all. So how are we going to keep going forward, and how will more history be made with NMA? So this is kind of a fun surprise for this session. NMA is not over next week. You guys are going to get matches. So you'll get emails with other people's emails that you've been matched with by topic of interest. So this could be future collaborators from all over the world, just like you had in NMA. And you'll also be matched by location, so you can start your own NMA local chapter if you like. So watch out for those emails. We're also going to work to make the NMA content citable. So we're going to try to convert each day into a didactic paper so that it can be cited and used, and the people that poured so much effort into it can be credited properly. And we'll convert all the days into a book, so a sort of comp neuroscience textbook that includes the really up-to-date content that a comp neuro student would need. So kind of a perfect TA in a box. We're also going to enable other future summer schools, both in person and online ones. We're going to provide all of the things we learned about tech at large scale. We're also going to write a couple papers on tutorial format, the overall tech organization nationally and globally, team building, and all of the things we learned about community optimization. And I'm going to hand it over to Megan Peters.
Thanks, Medina. So if you weren't excited enough about all the stuff that is coming in the next couple weeks, you're going to be really excited about this. So of course, you're probably thinking, well, that was a lot of fun. Can we do it again next year? And will there be a Neuromatch Academy 2021? And the answer is yes, it is coming. We've missed a lot of countries. We've got a lot of work to do. So as great as this has been and as much fun as this has been, of course, we're going to do it next year. This is way too much work to just do once. So basically, as soon as we're all caught up on sleep, we're going to get started on planning Neuromatch Academy 2021. So this is a plea to all of you to please tell your younger student friends, tell people who didn't quite find out about it in time this year. There's going to be another one next year. Also, help us please recruit experienced people as faculty members. So people who can maybe give lectures or who can provide faculty mentorship, or if you have industry friends who might want to be mentors or lecturers, please help us recruit people. And if you were a student this year or a TA this year at NMA 2020, you could also potentially be a TA next year at NMA 2021. And so think about all of this as we go forward. But if you don't want to wait that long, if NMA 2021 is just too far away and you're already feeling yourself going into withdrawal, we have a couple opportunities for how you can help us make history and how you can stay involved even over the course of the next year. So basically what this comes down to is, as great as we all think that NMA 2020 was, we can always do better. And so this is where your reflections that you guys filled out diligently every single day, and the survey that you guys filled out today at the end of the day, all of these are really important because they help us make Neuromatch Academy much better for everybody going forward. So here on this slide, you're seeing a graphic that was made by our evaluation team showing the flow from where you came from in your prior knowledge through how much learning you think you got, and then how much enjoyment you got out of every single day. And so this is a pretty optimistic graphic here, but we know that there are weaknesses in the curriculum. We know that there are weaknesses in the tutorials, in the projects, and we also know that we can do better in inclusivity, in bringing in more people from all around the world and really building that global culture and that global community. So while we are very grateful to our evaluation team and to all of you for helping us build Neuromatch Academy 2020 into the amazing community that it is, we know we can do better. And so we need your help. We need your thoughts and your feedback in order to do better going forward for NMA 2021. So what we thought we would do now is give you a couple examples of how you can get involved if you're not totally exhausted. After, again, we all catch up on a little bit of sleep. So here's just a few ways that you can get involved in helping us keep going over the next year in building towards NMA 2021. So the first way that you could get involved is with that evaluation team. So now we have all these data. We have all of your reflections from every single day. We have the end of the school survey, and we need to understand what all of these data mean. So if you're really interested in playing with data and understanding what patterns there are there, then maybe you could get involved and help out our evaluation team and play with some of the survey results. So it's pretty difficult to make some of these data useful. So if you have ideas or you want to try your hand, please let us know. And a second way, of course, is that Medina mentioned a book, a TA in a box, a perfect TA. And so the idea of this book is that we're going to take every single day of NeuroMatch 2020. We're going to make intro and outro text. We're going to harmonize that text to make it all coherent for every single day. And then we're going to project into all of this text and into the whole book the voice of essentially a perfect teaching assistant. So if you were a TA or a lead TA this year and you want your voice in this book, let us know. We're aiming for about 6,000 words for each chapter. And we already had an extensive conversation with MIT Press, who is very interested in this. So if you want to get involved in helping us coordinate the book, let us know. And here's a third way that you could potentially get involved. If you are interested in playing with data and numbers of a different sort, from the computer science side, we actually had a really interesting problem that we solved pretty well this year. But again, this can always be better. So NeuroMatch Academy has on the order of about 2,000 interactive students. They are spread across 9 time zones. Every single one of you students chose a preferred time zone, but also a second preferred time zone, an acceptable time zone. Every single one of the TAs also has one of these time zones. There are also these affinity scores that lead to the matches that you guys are all going to get next week. But these are affinity scores that match students with TAs and students with each other. So we have that. And so basically this is a massive global optimization problem. And so if you have ideas for how to solve this problem and you want to get involved in that team, you could also do that. And shown here on the right-hand side is a graphic again of the time zones and the project times and all of the kind of time zone difficulties that we have to grapple with here. And then maybe you can help us get better in the future. And then of course you can help us plan for next year for NMA 2021. So this is also in terms of the content. What can we add? Is there anything that we should expand on or compress on? Should we add time? Should we add a different topic? What else can we improve about your experiences? So we really, really want to hear your voices about how we can make NMA 2021 even better. And so if you're interested in any of these projects, or you think of another way that you want to get involved in helping us build NMA for the future, you can type this link into your browser right now. This is a volunteer survey and a call to action. So let us know if you want to get involved. We are always looking for people. And as we've said before, it won't be much work, right? How much work could it be? So in conclusion, basically, we love you all. We are so happy that you're here with us and that you took this journey with us, that you trusted us, and that you helped us make this global community fantastic for you and for everybody who was involved in NeuroMatch Academy. We love neuroscience. We love our volunteers, our organizing team, our mentors, our lecturers. We love our TAs. We love all of you students, you participants. Everybody here is just fantastic. And so if you want to keep the party going and you want to stay a part of the NMA community going forward, please fill out this survey and let us know. So that's it. I think that's all we have for you guys today. Yeah. So you want to, bring everybody back and we can all wave. So yeah, thanks very much for being part of this and for taking this journey with us. It's really been a pleasure and our great honor to be building this with all of you.
It's amazing.
So,
I didn't know any of you except for Beth before this began. And now we have this amazing community and it reaches out so far and wide.
it's really humbling how global this has become and how quickly it has become that global, and the outpouring of just support and love and engagement from the global neuroscience community. I feel like I have a whole new family and a whole new gigantic set of friends, and it's really very amazing to be a part of. All right, guys. Well, I guess, is that it?
I think that's
feel
it.
so
Now the withdrawal
anticlimactic.
begins. I'm gonna click the end button, and everybody is gonna be disconnected. And congratulations once again to the students. You have done an amazing job, and we really hope that you have learned an immense amount. We certainly have, and thank you for letting us go on this journey with you.
Stay in touch.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye
guys.
bye.
Bye.